first 9 career games. Who is he tied with? Okay? 5 home runs in his first 9 career games. That's tied for the second most in a player's first 9 career games. Who is the only player to have more than 5 home runs in his first 9 career games? Okay? So the only thing I will tell you about that is he's still playing. Okay? There you go. Still playing. Let's see how good we are in the chat room. I didn't even see the next draft picks yesterday, okay? But we'll see. And of course, Alvarez tied Carlos Delgado as as the fastest player to hit 5 home runs in 9 games at age 21. Okay, no, Riley's not the first. No, it's not Riley. First 9 games. It's Trevor Story, so I'll give it to Beerman. I'm not sure if Riley hit 5 home runs in his first 9 games. Not sure about that, but you may want to check. Keith Robinson's on a roll. All right, so that takes care of all the news and the notes. Trevor Story, the only player with more home runs in his first 9 games than Mr. Whatever his name is, Alvarez, okay? Now, rumors speculating as we go around the horn, Arizona Diamondbacks, Zach Greinke. Okay, and I'll tell you what, they could go either way with this team. He's got, a big salary, 15-team no-trade clause. Those are the obstacles, but they're still partially in that wild card race. He's 8-2 with a 2.65, 85 strikeouts, 14 walks, and 95 innings. But we'll see what happens. And Greinke hitting it up at the right time, okay? They'd love to make a deal for Greinke. A lot of teams ahead of the trading deadline, and we'll see what happens there. We'll see about that. And Robbie Ray is also highly sought, and it looks like the Phillies are the team that's most interested in Robbie Ray. They need that lefty, all right? They could be, the reports out of Arizona is that the Phillies are very interested in Robbie Ray. But once again, last night, too many walks, and it's pretty hard to do. The interesting thing about Arizona, and if you're playing DFS, you should know, through 43 games on the road, the Diamondbacks are the best hitting team in the National League. 272 average, 16 points better than the next closest team, and they're averaging 5.8 runs a game. That's on the road. But at home, they're hitting 100 points. Their OPS is 100 points lower. They're averaging about a run and a half less per game. They rank in the bottom 5 in runs per game and OPS. Okay, so they're a good road team. They're 24-19, and at home 14-17. And Nick Ahmad got hit by a pitch yesterday by Jeff Hoffman, hitting him below the left pinky. So we'll see how that works out. Good morning to Meckert, who has just joined us, and that guy. And let's hear it for the great White Sox gal. Nice turnout here in the chat room this morning. Very much appreciated by everybody. And thank you, Cha-Cha, for the opening act, okay? In Atlanta, Leonard Donaldson. Not Leonard Donaldson. How about that? I love you, Leonard Donaldson. But let's go to your cousin, Josh. 438-foot two-run homer in the 6th inning. That broke a 2-2 tie. And Donaldson's on fire now. 15 for 39. So he's got 14 homers on the season, and he looks very much like the hitter that he was back in 2015 when he won the American League Most Valuable Player Award. So if you have a chance now, before that window closes, try to make a deal for Leonard Donaldson. You can't get him. I would never trade him. But Josh Donaldson could be available. Now Atlanta now 14-4 in June, 4-game lead in the National League East over the second-place Phillies, who were swept by the Nationals. And there you go. So Donaldson has raised his average to about 260 and starting to look like the player. He had a 237 batting average, okay, right before the homestand. So really coming around. Max Fried, 6 strong innings. He's been up and I won't say down, but kind of level. 6 strong innings, 2 runs, 8 hits. A.J. Minter, Anthony Swarzak, .065 ERA since the Braves got him from Seattle on May 20th. Luke Jackson, they all shut him down. Swarzak will not be the closer because he's shown that he's too valuable as the effector. Too valuable as the effector. In his first 8 games this year, and that includes 6 starts, Max Fried had a 2.11 ERA, held opponents to a 2.17 average. But then, as we thought, he may level off. His next 8 starts, he had a 6.1 ERA, 3.18 opponents average. So on Wednesday when he pitched yesterday, or today, whatever it was Wednesday, he looked more like his early season self. So Fried coming around. But right now, I would still, if you have Max Fried, I would I'd put him on the market if he's the chip that you need to get what you're lacking right now in your fantasy league. Okay, so now's the time. Put Max Fried on the market. He's after that good game. Don't forget, on June 5th, he gave up 5 runs in a game that the Braves came back to win 9-8. And at one point, he led the league in ERA with a 1.8. Lots of ups and downs. But he had good command, 6 innings, struck out 6, 2 earned runs. A.J. Minter, as I said, pitched the 7th inning in relief. Swarzak came through, and good. So Swarzak, absolutely pitching good. 13 and a third innings in his 12 appearances. Only 1 earned run. Adbert Azalea. I know Andy was talking about him yesterday with Lou, and they did a very good job. Andy is, she's so good, I love the Andy and Lou combination. I'd love to see Andy and Cha-Cha. That's the ultimate, okay? We'll wait for that, okay? Azalea, 24 years old. He was 2-0 with a 1.93 in his last 5 starts at AAA. Struck out 40, only 3 walks in 28 innings, and the opposition was hitting only 194 against him in that 5-game stretch that he was absolutely dominant. So the biggest question, would he earn the starting nod against the Braves over Chatwood? And he did. And he's got to figure it out. So let's just temper our enthusiasm a little bit. He had a good game. If you want to speculate on a pitcher or speculate on Donkey, you can do that. Not a problem, okay? Good morning to the Donkey. In Cincinnati, Tanner Roark struck out 7 in 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 tremendous home run. Christian Yelich is just unbelievable. And the Reds now, 5-game winning streak. I'm telling you, this team, they were 20, 30 to 1. I'm touting them. I lost track of them when they got off to such a bad start. And the hitting was supposed to be the strength, not the pitching. But the Red starters have allowed a combined 9 runs in 29 and a third innings. 2.76 ERA with 33 strikeouts. Okay? But Roark left a slider over the middle, and Yelich, bingo. 28th home run of the season. At Miller Park, he has 20 home runs in 29 games and 39 RBIs. Unbelievable, okay? And Castillo, DeSclafani, and Tyler Mahle combined 5 runs in 18 and a third innings. So, look, they rank 3rd in Major League Baseball, all right, with a 3.5 ERA. So, and they've only allowed 74 home runs. The bullpen has the best ERA, 3.4. Unbelievable. A tremendous shift from last season when Cincinnati's biggest weakness was their pitching. And they did it in the offseason. Last year they had a 4.6 ERA, 2nd worst in the National League. They allowed an NL leading 228 home runs, and their opposition was hitting 274 against their starters. Crazy. If you take a look at the All-Star voting, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing now, I will only say that it's really a shame. Trevor Story ranks 4th in the latest All-Star voting for National League shortstops. That tells me that the fans have no idea what they're doing. None. Uh, he made his first All-Star game last year as a reserve. He finished fourth. But heading into Wednesday's action, Story was first in home runs with 17, first in RBIs with 48, first in stolen bases, 12, second in OPS, second in average, second in fielding percentage, and yet he's behind Javier Baez, Dansby Swanson, and Corey Seager, who's currently on the injured list. Something to be said about how the All-Stars, something to be said about how the All-Stars are picked. And in Miami, we saw Gallen. That's right, the number 18 prospect in MLB Pipeline. He's 6'1", 196 pounds. Greg Mish has been talking about him for since the season started. Look, back-to-back strikeouts of Paul DeJong and Goldschmidt in the first inning. Held the Cardinals scoreless for four innings. Ozuna went 0 for 3. 1 earned run, 5 hits, 2 walks, 99 pitches, 61 of them strikes. And the impressive thing is that 15 of his outs came on a slider, which he threw 38 times from 78 miles an hour to 88. And changeup was steady, threw 7 curveballs. Keep an eye on this kid. I don't know about this year, but certainly for the rest of the year. Trevor Bauer Day today. There you go. So Andy, actually in a good mood today, all right? Once again, don't forget Sunday. If you could support us on Sunday with a phone call, Cha-Cha will be making his appearance on Sirius Radio for as we draft the first round. And this began after he hit a 2-run homer on June 1st against Pittsburgh. So just keep in mind, those of you who have Arcia, he may not last. Lou Landers is here. Good morning to Lou. Welcome aboard. Great to have you all in the chat room, everybody. Really appreciate it. Everybody's talking about Brian Reynolds, and he's going to have to be a writing candidate at the for the All-Star game. He's 24 years old. He'd be leading the National League with a 362 average if it wasn't for that rule that demands 3.1 plate appearances per game. Okay? So, excuse me. In Reynolds' case, he needs 226 plate appearances, okay? But he was a non-roster player, 194 coming into Friday's game. So we'll see. Solid Rookie of the Year candidate. But Peter Alonso, tied for second in the majors with 24 home runs. Austin Riley, Fernando Tatis, with that hamstring injury, only 166 games. How about Mike Soroka? So you got Soroka, Tatis, Riley, Alonso, and Reynolds. Name your Rookie of the Year in the National League. Reynolds, Alonso, Soroka, Riley, Tatis. Used to be Chris Paddock in there, right? So there you go. Who do you like for the National League Rookie of the Year? And the Dodger rotation. Talk about Cincinnati. They produced quality starts in 28 of the last 35 games. Okay? Since April 25th, the Dodger starters are 27-5 with a 2.16 ERA. 305 strikeouts, 303 innings. And the Nationals, their first 3-game sweep of the season, they're 12-5 in June. They narrowed the gap between themselves and Atlanta to 7.5 games. But here's the thing. Nationals playing their best baseball, and Atlanta's coming to town for a 3-game series. And this is what we love, okay? Yep, this is what we love. Moving over to the American League. And once again, want to thank you all. Lou and Cha-Cha will be coming up at 4 o'clock. Is that it? We got a great lineup. I'm so proud of what we have done here. If I look at the schedule, I don't know if it's correct, but look, I know we got some between Lou and Arnie and Cha-Cha and Kevin Hastings and just everybody who's done such a great job. Well, I'd love to see AAA get a little bit more action. Come on there, you knucklehead. Let's get some action there, AAA. And There you go. So I didn't mean to leave anybody out, but